Hi, my name is Susanna Barton, and I'm the host of the Grand Plans podcast. Today, I am very excited to be having season 4, episode 3 on the books. And today we have with us Joanne Hickox, who is the Executive Director of Seniors on a Mission here in Jacksonville, Florida. And she's also the visionary behind an exciting new senior living concept called the G3 Village, which we'll get into later in our conversation. So thanks for being with us today. Hi, everybody. I am so excited to be here with my friend and colleague, Joanne Hickox. She is the Executive Director of Seniors on a Mission here in Jacksonville, Florida. And she's also the visionary behind a senior living concept called G3 Village. And we'll get into all of that in just a minute. But the most exciting thing about this conversation is that it is our first international interview of the season. Joanne is coming to us live from Canada. So welcome, Joanne. And I know it's colder up there than it is here in sunny Florida, but looks like you're bundled.
It was minus 24 the other day.
Oh, yeah. My goodness.
And 6-foot snowbanks. It was crazy.
And you're up there visiting your father and family. Is that right?
Actually, my father slipped and fell 2.5 weeks ago, didn't get to the doctor for 5 days. So I made a trip up, and I don't know when this will be broadcast, but there was horrendous storms, if people will remember, in February of 2026. And I was driving through the middle of it to get to my daddy.
Well, we all travel long and far and hard to get to family and help in that way. So I'm glad you got there safely, and I'm sure you are making a big difference. So today, I'd love to talk to you about some of the themes that we discussed during the past year. Joanne and I were kind of had a roadshow where we talked about the G3 Village as a concept, and I talked about how the importance of thinking about how and where we live as we age and thinking innovatively about that approach. So, Joanne, I know this is a special project to you, this G3 Village. Can you tell us a little bit more about the project and what it is and who would benefit from this village?
Absolutely. It's a older adult, 50 plus, agri-village with intentional, it's an intentional community about surrounding purpose.
Right.
I've learned over 27 years working with senior adults that they want to be needed. They need to be needed. They don't need to be the needy. Mm-hmm. And so we're trying to create it's a 20-acre farm with 40 units of housing kind of smack dab in the middle of it. Okay. And the surrounding area is all farming and individualized farming, small, so that it's all handled. And everyone who rents there, because it's a rental community, everyone who rents there has 10 hours of service every week. Yeah. And so they have an opportunity to have a purpose.
Yes, that's my favorite part of it, I think, is the purpose-driven part of it. And I know we've talked about this before, but the rental portion of it too, that also is unique in an affordable situation. It kind of hits the people who often, don't have choices because sometimes senior living arrangements are much more expensive or more than they can handle, or people that fall in the middle ground of that. So.
And that's exactly where we're focusing because most of the seniors that we're focusing on are the ones that have raised their kids in their house. They bought the American dream, and they've now the kids are gone. They're living in a house that is too big for them. It's older. It needs repairs.
Right.
And because they own a home, even though it may be falling down around them, they don't qualify for government assistance.
Right.
There's no HUD help for them. And, they can't afford typically a $5,000 to $7,000 a month senior adult living retirement home. So
right.
what is there in the middle? And so we're trying to create something that is really special and is wrapped around faith. It is an opportunity to grow in their older years, which I'm excited about. Everybody we need to keep learning as people and growing and maturing until the day we leave and go to our eternal home. So
I agree. And there's also a component where it's not just adults 75 plus. You're looking at a range. Yes.
We're actually looking from 50 to whenever they can live independently. Now, my dad's 83 and he is still living independently in a house big enough for 7 people. But he's living independently. And that's what we want to see at G3 Village, because it is an independent living community. However, we have there's the village is kind of created in 3 sections, and the front third is what we call G3 outreach, public outreach. And that's for families to come, for classrooms full of kids to come, but we have school bus parking, and it's a learning center. It's more like a learning hub. While 40 people get to live there, 40 units of housing, they have the opportunity to be the farmhands and enjoy life as a farmer as they age.
Yeah. Now, Joanne, tell me a little bit about the genesis of this idea. I know you tell a story about your parents' home and access, and there was snow. I can't remember all the early parts of it, but what inspired you to think along these lines and to move this project forward? It really is an incredibly innovative idea.
Well, 4 years ago, it was the end of the pandemic, and in Canada, the pandemic stayed a lot longer. I mean, they enforced the rules a lot longer. So I was sitting out on my dad's driveway, which he has this long driveway that goes back to his shop because he's got an acre of land here. And immediately on the edge of his driveway to the right is a retirement home. And it's been there. He's lived beside it for 25 years and he's never been in it. In 25 years, he's never been in it. But he was walking kind of down the driveway and he walked, his 6 feet around me and he kept going. And on his walk around me, he said to me, Joanne, you don't have to worry about me when your mom passes away, because, we've been dealing with mom with stage 4 cancer for 5 years. And he said, when your mom passes away, I'm going to go live over there. And he kept on walking to the shop. And I literally looked towards heaven and said, what are we going to do about this? Because my daddy's not living in that pigsty. Because I'd been in it. The moment mom got sick, I went over to check it out. And it eventually, actually, 2 years later, it was closed down by the Canadian government. So,
wow.
Yeah. So the downloads immediately started because I literally looked towards heaven and said, okay, God, what are we doing about this? Because this ain't happening. And he started downloading. I literally started on a napkin, started drawing on a napkin, and contacted a builder friend of mine and said, have you ever thought of something like this? And he said, yeah. And I was like, okay. And it's been a download kind of situation for 4 years. I've learned more about senior housing from seniors.
And what are they telling you when you talk to other older adults? What is their vision, and how has that played into your designs for G3 Village? Well,
when I started, I listened to all the contractors, which was small piece of land, go high. And all of the seniors said to me, we'd like to be on one level. We'd like to never have to get into an elevator. I said, why not? And they said, elevators make us feel like hospitals, and we don't want to live in a hospital.
Right.
Okay, that was interesting. So everything is zero entry, whether it's into the barn, whether it's into the community center, whether it's into the educational buildings, whether it's into their living space. Everything is zero entry. Everything is going to be created with age in place.
Yeah.
So there may not be bars on the wall that need to, but the wood where they need to be screwed in has already been built into the wall behind it, so that we know that they might be 50 when they move in, but they might be 80 and need a handrail. Well, we'll know exactly where everything can be put, and it will be put in the places that everyone needs them.
Yeah.
So we're pre-planning all of that.
Yeah. And I know you have spent, is it 30 years with Seniors on a Mission, providing opportunities for older adults to have purpose and give back. Did that connect with your visions for G3 Village? Is that where you came up with the volunteer to as
yes.
Or
Seniors on a Mission was basically created to take older adults on day-long mission trips. They can't go to Zimbabwe and build an orphanage, but they can go to a local nonprofit and work for the day as a team where they accomplish a great project, and everybody gives them kudos. I mean, it's wonderful. The organization supplies the lunch and a great job, and away we go.
Right.
And purpose fuels human beings, and just because you get gray hair doesn't mean you don't want to be full of purpose and have a reason to get out of bed every day.
Right.
And so it was an odd, I knew years ago that while our program was really successful, they went home to a place where they were isolated, lonely, and depressed. So they were great for the day before or 2 days before, the day of, and a couple of days after they had that honeymoon glow. But all of a sudden, they were in their house alone for another 2 weeks. And I always said to my board of directors, guys, if we're really going to make a true difference in a senior adult's life, we have to change where they live. And I've been saying that for 2 decades. And I've been watching how housing has changed in my hometown, Jacksonville, Florida. And after watching it for the last 2 decades, I know we can do it better.
Yes. Yeah. And tell me where you are in the project and the process. I know you were looking at different pieces of property.
Yes.
Where are things now?
We're choosing, we went from no properties to now we've got 5. And yes, yeah, it's been amazing. We had a farmer give us 25 acres in Columbia County. We have a man that has 1,000 acres in St. Johns County, and where he wants to put us right now is actually zoned conservation land.
Oh, nice.
But he said, you know what, Joanne? I'm rezoning this whole 1,000 acres, and I'm going to move the conservation land to a different place and make that agricultural because it's all upland and good and usable. So we're waiting upon that one. The city of Jacksonville has offered a specific piece of land, and we're excited about that. And we're in talks with the city of Hilliard. They have a 40-acre plot up there that might make a perfect 2, like side by side, do one community. And then when that one works, we'll replicate it. So right now I'm just, it's like, okay, God, which is the right one? Because it's the first one, it's the pilot. And we've gotten, and we also have 20 acres in Orlando that's been donated.
Okay.
But I'm not ready for Orlando. That's too far away at the moment. It's just like, okay, where do we start?
Right. So there are options out there. God is moving you along on quite a path with lots of sunny spots. And so this is great. You're creating purpose for older adults. You're giving them a place to live. What are you learning about what we should be thinking about as we age as in terms of where we live and thinking innovatively about our housing? And our residential needs. What are you learning from this experience?
Well, just because it's inside of a community doesn't necessarily mean they won't be lonely.
Right.
So you can have 600 houses and still be alone. You have to purposely find a place that puts community and puts unity together. You can't just move into a senior living opportunity and expect to find friends. Yes, you might all eat in the same dining room, but eating at the same table every day doesn't lead for you to know. You'll know the three people that you know, and it's aging is a series of losing things. You know, you become less independent or in this area, and you lose your friends here, and because we age, you know, we lose friends eternally, to eternity. Sorry. It doesn't have to be that way. That's what I'm learning.
Yeah.
We can create community. We can create a new family, a new group of people that are, well, as you call them, our peeps, you know, and don't be afraid to allow somebody new into that group of peeps so that, you can learn about what life is like through their eyes, through their life. And I love seeing people. We still have our mission trips. Understand, just because I'm working on G3 Village doesn't mean, you know, the two major the programs of seniors on a mission are not continuing. And I watch new people come on the mission trips and watch them just blossom. And so, that's what I'm learning.
That's good advice. And I think I was just reading something this morning about a new study that showed, and this I know will not surprise you, that love is the answer to happiness, and that we get so much happiness from mattering to others and for serving others. And that's where real happiness comes from. So, yes, big part of it. And I think we all have to look for it. There are options out there, obviously, for us all to live as we age. But I think it does take some dedication on every person's part to be open to growing your community and finding new people to add in, because we get so much from each other. Let's move quickly into another area that I want to ask you about. And I know you've been a caregiver in different ways and for different important people in your life, your parents and also your husband. Can you tell me a little bit about what you've learned through those experiences in caregiving that have changed the way you are approaching your aging, and you know what some of the takeaways have been that have inspired you and caused you to think differently about the way you'll approach it?
I'm blessed in that at 62, I know all of the, I think you've referred to them as the three-letter company, or the three-letter organizations that all have acronyms about aging, about helping with all aspects of senior living and healthcare, especially. Going through the process, both in Canada and in the United States, I've learned that there are great opportunities that most of us don't know about. And educating ourselves about those things is really important. There are, and the other thing, and I can't say this enough, as a caregiver who's been one now for 8 solid years, I started with my mom for 5.5 years. And I don't know if you know this, but I live in Florida. Mom lived in Canada, and I drove 19 hours. It would be straight, or, you know, if I could stay at somebody's house, I would, you know, spend a night and then keep driving. But I helped relieve my father for 1 month at a time. Mm-hmm. And then my sister would fly in, and she would relieve my dad for not relieve, but come alongside.
Support. Yeah.
Yeah. We have to have that support. I was supporting Dad for 5.5 years. I am now caregiving almost 24/7 on my own, as well as running a full-time ministry, mm-hmm. as well as huge church commitments that, I've been a part of. But my husband, who we've been married for almost 40 years, and he is 25 years my senior. Mm-hmm. I will say that caregiving for someone that you don't live with 24/7 is a whole lot easier. Mm-hmm. So if you can find people that can come alongside you and share in the process and be willing to take your hands off and leave. You get to the point where you think, I can't leave them. I can never get away from them. I have to be there for their safety. And you know what? We don't have that much power in the world.
Right.
We are simply helping them. And yes, we're going out of our way to make sure that they're healthy, that they've got what they need, and blah, blah, blah. But other people can do that.
Right.
Don't get a complex of I'm the only one, mm-hmm. because it'll kill you.
Yeah, that's ego talking, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. We have to be able to walk away and know that other people can care for them, that it is ego. Pride is huge that way, but it's also the females have such a God-given ability to nurture.
Yes.
That we have to realize when nurture is killing us. Mm-hmm. So that would be my biggest red flag, is find out who can help and accept their help. Yes.
And I think that plays off of what you are doing in your other work, is building community. If you have community around you, you can find support to be alongside of you in those times, or maybe you're more willing to accept it because
But we live in a world of loners right now.
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
We live in a world of loners, mm-hmm. and it's killing people.
I agree. Yeah.
In one way or another.
Right. So building that community, knowing who our support is and trusting in that support is a game changer. Yeah.
Yes.
That's good advice, Joanne. You do it all. I mean, I don't know how you have time to do all of these things, but it's amazing. And you stir so much good in this world. And I'm just all about you. I tell people all the time, I can't wait for you to meet Joanne. You get around her and you can just feel the spirit moving through her. And it's really something else. And I'm just so grateful for the time we had.
The joy of the Lord is definitely my strength.
Yeah, that's a wonderful thing to have. Well, Joanne, I just can't thank you enough for coming on from Canada and sharing your wisdom with us today. And I look forward to hearing more about G3 Village as things progress. And of course, we'll want to share that here on this podcast and keep everyone informed. But thank you for being with us today.
Thank you for all you do.
No.
Blessings. Bye now.
Bye. I hope you enjoyed hearing from Joanne Hickox, the Executive Director of Seniors on a Mission and the visionary behind G3 Village here in Jacksonville, Florida. This podcast will be available soon, anywhere you get your podcasts. And if you want to know more about G3 Village, you can go to g3village.org. And seniorsonAmission.org. So they're both wonderful. They do wonderful work, Seniors on a Mission. And of course, G3 Village, I think, is really a project to watch and something we can all emulate as we try to think a little more innovatively about our approach to housing as we age. So thanks for being with us today. We'll see you next time.